Okay, so far so good. Question is, most important class I've ever had, and why did I enjoy it? So far, I've got chemistry A level. Oh, that's no good. I've got chemistry A level was the most important class I've ever had. And here's my introduction. As a lifelong student, I've engaged in many classes at primary, secondary and tertiary levels. You'll notice this is a pretty standard, or a variation on the pretty standard. You know, there have been a lot of classes, or I have taken a lot of classes, but the most important one was. So here, you know, many classes, and then blah blah blah, but the most important one was probably blah. Anyway, as a lover of learning, LL, I have spent a lot of time self-studying using books, podcasts, and most recently online lectures. The most important class I ever was it made a lasting impression. Now the question did say, why did you enjoy this class? So I might put that in the introduction rather than I found it enjoyable, and then that for several reasons. I'll probably use that, you know, a couple of times in the speaking sections. So now that I've got time as I'm writing to edit myself, I'm going to change that. I found it enjoyable. For the following reasons. It taught me the practical application of what I've been learning. I learned a new thinking tool. Oops, should get my punctuation right. So we've got semicolon, semicolon. Actually, that probably should be a colon. From what I've been learning, learned a new thinking tool, and it fueled my desire to know more about the universe. Alright. So topic sentence, why did I enjoy this? Okay. One of the first things that struck me, ooh, what was the class? I should introduce a class. One of, yeah, the first things that struck me during the class was that what I was learning had practical, real world application. The class in particular was about how some molecules change shape when energy was put into them, and then as they regained their original shape, they released most of the energy. The application of such a technology example of application here of how such a technology could be useful was as a battery. For example, if you had a solar panel on your house, you could use any excess energy to denature these molecules. Denature means change the shape of or deform these molecules. Then at night time, this energy, when there was no sun, this energy could be released by reforming the molecules in their original shape. I was blown away by this that the things we were learning could solve blown away with it. Could solve actual problems and make life better. Okay, C, practical application of chemistry. Alright, that was a big paragraph because I had to introduce the content, but I think these will be a little bit shorter. This showed me how new discoveries could be applied to existing problems by thinking in let's call it outside the box, thinking in novel ways. This would never have occurred to me to use this technology as a battery. In fact, I remember thinking at the time, what use is that? Now I realize that the question I asked was a good question, and that it would be rewarding to actually find an answer to that question. It reminded me of a story I heard about the discovery of the electron. That the scientific community congratulated the discoverer on having found the most useless information. Now though, we live in the electronic world. The brightest minds at that time could never have predicted how important this is to life today. Desire to know more. This one class inspired me to know more, not just about chemistry, but about everything I could find. Knowing that seemingly innocuous, seemingly useless pieces of information could revolutionize the world led me on a quest to discover more about everything I could. The more knowledge I accumulate, just let me check the time. Ooh. The better equipped I would be. Alright, I'm gonna make this third one my conclusion. So, blah blah blah, this showed me, because I'm running out of time, how new discoveries could be applied to existing problems by thinking outside the box. And I learned a new thinking tool. Alright, so I'll change the thesis to two things. Those are my two things, and then pretend this is my conclusion. To know more, not just about the chemistry, but about everything I could find. Knowing seemingly used could revolutionize the world, let me on a quest to discover more about it, and more knowledge, the better equipped I would be. This class, in effect, has driven me to continue learning throughout my life. Not much time for editing. Let's see how much time I've got. Okay, 20 seconds. I think that's gonna have to be good enough.